Syracuse, Virginia Tech coming up, 7 o'clock tip time in the Dome. Of course, you can hear it over on TK99. Our pregame will commence at 6, so we'll finish this whole thing up, and then we'll just keep on going for another hour. Tim Leonard will be in for a postgame after the game as well. You can watch the game on ESPNU. Doug Sherman has become apparently the unofficial play-by-play man of Syracuse basketball. He was just here on Saturdays. He's still here. He lives in Albany. He doesn't have to go that far, but Doug will be on the call with Malcolm Huckabee tonight on ESPNU if you are partaking on the TV. Heck, if you're feeling like getting creative and want to listen to the Virginia Tech radio broadcast, have I got the guy for you. He's our first guest today. He's the longtime color commentator for both Virginia Tech basketball and Virginia Tech football. He is Mike Burnop. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for hopping on here as you're getting ready to head over to the Dome.
Yeah, no problem. Good to be with you again, and I love the weather up here today.
Yeah, we made it nice, real nice just for you, Mike. I mean, this is, it is. I believe I just saw it is literally the warmest February 27th in the history of Syracuse. So you've hit a big winner today.
I'm so excited to see the ground without snow on it. It's that's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, we do have that too. We actually have ground here. It's you wouldn't know that coming up here during basketball season. But I don't know about you, Mike. We've been banging our heads against the wall about the bubble here for a long time. Not that Syracuse is necessarily that close to the tournament right now, but there's still a path. I think Virginia Tech is probably in a similar situation right now as the Orange, give or take. What is the general vibe right now around these Hokies, and if they have a chance to make a run to the NCAA?
Well, they're going to have to win a lot of games. I mean, they're going to have to pretty much win out or else win the tournament to be able to get in, because 15-12 and 7-9 in the league's not good enough to get you in. Too many tough losses. And so they got a lot of work to do, without a doubt. And, when you look at the standings, there's not a lot to separate those teams that are in the middle of the pack. They're kind of bunched together. But the Hokies only have those two opportunities tonight against you guys. And then obviously coming up with the next game against Wake Forest on Saturday, are teams that are above them in the standings. The last two games against Notre Dame and Louisville are not going to help you very much. So, yeah, they got a lot of work to do. I think it's a long shot for sure. But you never say never, because I never thought they'd have won that tournament a couple of years ago when they won 4 games in a row and won the ACC tournament. So you never know. Yeah,
that was a magical run a few years ago, and they're still making threes from that tournament. I don't even know. It's wild how well they played in that 4-game stretch a few years back. But what do you make of the league right now, Mike? I mean, this league is catching shots from all around the country. Like the net rankings are not great. The bracketologies are not great. What's the sense you get? You've seen ACC basketball for a long time. Does this make sense to you?
No, it doesn't. But it's just crazy to me that on any given night, you can just kind of see out there that any team is capable of beating the other team. I mean, look at that game last night with Miami and North Carolina. You thought that was over, right? And Carolina's whatever they were, 10 of 19 at the free throw line. I mean, come on. And so they end up sneaking by and winning the game. But it's not just the ACC; it's every conference. Look at West Virginia the other night, and they were down like 20-some points, came back and took the lead and lost it in overtime. So, I mean, there's enough good athletes out there with the transfer portal these days that, if you get good play out of them, they can make things happen. The crazy thing with Virginia Tech is it's just like the inconsistencies of guys that play really, really well one night and can score for you, and then they disappear another night. And I think that's what frustrates Coach Young so much, is that the inconsistent play, and they can't win a game on the road. I mean, they're 1-8 on the road. The only win they had was at NC State, and so it's been frustrating for sure. Yeah,
you look at this season here for Virginia Tech, and Hunter Couture, yes, he's still in school. I don't know how that's possible. He's been there for forever. The COVID year, you get an extra year. Sean Padula's also been there forever. So you have the excellent backcourt. Is it them? Have they been consistent, Mike, or is it the rest of them around it? It feels like the surrounding parts here, maybe the last few years, were certainly, more known and contributing at a higher level than maybe this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, when you think about Justin Mutz, what he was able to do for Virginia Tech, his ability to pass the ball as a big guy, He could score inside and outside and defend the rim. We don't have that right now, and that's been a little bit of an issue. And obviously last year with Grant Basile, his ability to score was something else. Well, he was, one and done, went to the next level and playing overseas and doing well. But you haven't gotten that out of the other guys, the Robbie Barons and, Mekhi Long was a kid that came in, was going to help you in the rebound department. He hurt his knee. He's been out about the last 8 games and will not play, I don't think, the rest of the year. And, Lynn Kidd has been pretty good. Elijah Petit, those 2 big guys have helped out inside. But sometimes when you get up against, Baycott or a Blake Henson, they can make your life pretty tough. So, it's not like you're missing Justin Mutz big time for sure.
Yeah, and Syracuse fans are very happy Mutz is gone because for one, the zone is also gone too. But my memory, Mike, is that guy ripped apart the zone from the high post like nobody's business. Like I can't believe what he did against Syracuse the last few years.
Yeah, he was pretty good against that. He put him up there to nail, and he was passing the ball and dishing, and he looked pretty good. But, long gone is the Mutz man, so, long gone is that zone. But I'm happy for Red. Adrian Autry was a guy that came to Virginia Tech, and he was there under Seth Greenberg, and I guess in 2008. And so just his ascension up the ladder now as the head coach. Happy for him and his family and looking forward to see him tonight.
Yeah, you said, Mike, you kind of knew Red when, right? Back when he was just getting going in his college days. Well, what did you see? Obviously we've known Red in this community for a long time, but you saw him early days of being a college coach. What did you see out of him then that maybe you could have projected forward to being like, all right, this guy's got a little something?
He was green, obviously, and just like I saw a bunch of green towels over there at shoot-around. I'm not sure what that's about. What does that mean when we're going to make the green orange or something? But anyway, I digress. But a bunch of towels were over there on the seats for the game tonight. But, yeah, he was green, but, he was like a sponge. He took everything in. He watched the way Seth did game plans and preparation and meetings and recruiting and all the stuff that he was doing. And I think he just kind of soaked it all in and worked his way up the ladder from director of ops to an assistant coach. And then he left to go be an assistant coach up there and became the associate head coach. So, yeah, everybody wondered, who's going to take over when Boeheim retires. And, Adrian kind of came out of nowhere, I think a lot of people thought. But happy for him and his family and just real proud of him.
I think you've stumbled upon some kind of sponsored towel that I know nothing about, Mike, but I guess people...
Well, you wait till you see it tonight.
People like free stuff, so I'm sure they'll get their hands on that. That's Mike.
That's true.
Mike Burnop from the Virginia Tech radio broadcast is with us. Let's get into Hunter Couture a little bit. I mean, this guy's been doing it at a high level for a long time. What's popping to you about Hunter this year? Same guy as always? Has he added to his game? What is Hunter like at this point of his career?
Well, he's doing well. He's still – coach wants him to shoot the ball more. He's a pretty good shooter, as you know, especially from downtown. And, some games he shoots the ball well and some games he struggles. Against Pitt the other night, he only had 7 points. He had foul trouble. And, he didn't shoot the ball particularly well, just 1 of 4 beyond the arc. And so I think teams have been – there's a lot of tape on Hunter Couture, and they know that you got to get up in his grill and defend him and, make life difficult for him and kind of rough him up around coming off screens. And so I think that's kind of some games it affects him a little bit. But I think he's the same old guy. He's kind of a standard guy, he and Padula. And they've taken the ball out of their hands a little bit in terms of turnovers and given it to M.J. Collins to run the point some. So that's helped because the Hokies have only turned it over 6, 7, and 8 the last 3 games. Or in terms of turnovers, when Sean Padula, here for a couple of games, he had 7 turnovers. Well, that's like your quarterback, man, throwing like 5 interceptions. You can't do that. So that certainly has helped matters as well.
And I imagine certainly tonight, right, Mike? Syracuse is the most turnover-forcing team in the conference. That's certainly what they lean on defense. So that's an interesting change, right, to take the ball into Padula's hands because, he's the engine, but sometimes I guess his engine gets a little out of control from time to time.
Yeah, it does, and he was really good the other night at Pitt. He was the only guy that really could score. He had 26 points in the game. He made half his shots, 7 out of the 14. He made 11 out of 13 free throws, and he played really well, 7 assists and just 1 turnover because MJ was doing the bulk of handling the ball. and Sean could kind of do his thing as a two guard, just kind of score and do what he does. So he's capable of doing that night in and night out. The problem is you got to get help from the supporting cast. Like Tyler Nichols, the kid that transferred in from North Carolina, I mean, he can shoot the ball really, really well, and he's had some nice games. But the other night against Pitt, he couldn't throw the daggone ball in the ocean from sitting in a boat. I mean, he was 0 for 6 beyond the arc, or 0 for 6 overall, I think, and the Hokies only made three balls in that game, 3 out of 20. And they rely on that three-point shooting so much, and if they don't make them, it's a long night. If they do make them, look out. But, that's such a big part of their game. They have to make threes.
Yeah, I'd say we know this. Like, most teams might lean on one thing. Some of the great teams have multiple paths to victory. That's not normal these days. Is it primarily the three ball here for the Hokies this year? Like, I know they've been a great shooting team in other years, but, we mentioned Mutz. I remember a few years ago, Keve Aluma could get stuff going near the rim. Is it just live and die by the three this year?
Well, not necessarily always. I mean, I think Lynn Kidd and Elijah Petit have been two guys inside that have had some really good games. Take the game against the UVA, their big rival. They just dominated inside that game. And I think between the two of them, they combine and usually have a pretty good number of points and rebounds. And so, they kind of use those guys in and out just to keep them fresh. And so I think they do have some inside presence, and hopefully they'll be able to show up and play well tonight and take a little pressure off of those guards.
And we'll see if this game gets a little physical. I'm looking at your roster here, Mike, and this came up in the office earlier today. The freshman on your team, by the name of Brandon Recksteiner, is the son of Scott Steiner, the professional wrestler. Like, is he going to go in and rumble? Like, has Scott been to a game? This was like the weirdest revelation we had around the office this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, he actually came to a game. I forget which one it was back in the earlier this season. He came to a game, and, that's pretty cool. And a nice story with him and Papa. That's pretty cool. But, that's true. And, let's get ready to rumble.
I'd say, hey, if you need I don't know if he's only going to get in there and commit some flagrants or something based on his upbringing, but you never know. That was like, wait a minute, what? The professional wrestler? Okay. I want to ask you this before we go, Mike, on a football thought, because a lot has changed around here, obviously, since we would have last talked football with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cuse and Virginia Tech go way, way back. You always pay attention to this stuff. What do you make of what you've seen with Syracuse under Fran Brown here? It's a whole new vibe around these parts in the last couple months.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you think about the players that he's gotten in there already, and I don't know. Did they find a bank that's got a bunch of money? NIL? I mean,
they must have. I have no idea, Mike.
The way the world is nowadays, guys, I mean, I'm telling you, it's crazy out there with the NIL and the portal and how guys are coming and how much they're getting paid. And it's like the Wild Wild West. But so far, so good for him. And the vibe is great. I think it's been good at Virginia Tech as well, because in this day and time, keeping those guys that you have that are good is hard, because all these other teams that got more money and bigger resources are coming after them. And so that's what Brent Pry was able to do, keeping all those receivers, keeping the running back, keeping the quarterback. So I think the future is bright for the Hokies as well. But, yeah, he's made some splashes, and I look forward to seeing what he can get done this year.
Yeah, I'd say both Syracuse and Virginia Tech had very nice off seasons when it came to football this year, and we always look forward when those teams get together on the field. We didn't really like how it happened this past time, but we'll look forward to how it happens the next time down the line when Cuse and Virginia Tech. I don't even know what year it is. I can't keep track of the future football schedule. I have no idea. I mean, it changes every 4 minutes.
How long did that 3-3-5 schedule last, right?
Yeah. we set that up and made it through like a year and a half of it. And it's like, well, why don't you go out to Cal and check that out? So we'll see.
Exactly. Let's go west. A little trip for you guys.
Syracuse is Syracuse hosts Stanford and visits Cal this year, so it'll be, it's a brave new world we're all in. All right, Mike. Always great to chat. Great to have you up here in the Cuse and enjoy the game tonight. But thanks for hopping on.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and you guys take care. Good to be with you.
All right, there he goes, Mike Burnop, the longtime color analyst for both the Virginia Tech basketball and Virginia Tech football broadcast. Always good to catch up with Mike on a Cuse Virginia Tech game day, though it did dredge up. I had buried that in the deep recesses, that Thursday night happening a few months ago. We don't need to bring that one up again. No. I apologize. That's my mistake. I did that. I didn't mean to. Terrible things. Terrible things. All right, we'll take a break. Your calls when we come back. Phone lines open. 315-437-7644. We can get into the game, get into whatever you'd like here on this Tuesday. We will talk a little lax coming up next hour. Sammy English from the lacrosse team joins us in advance of tomorrow's game. 6 o'clock face-off in the Dome against Army. We're back after this right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.